So hello, now I'm in the south of France. Now this location that I'm in is Saint-Antonin-Noble-Val, and it is gorgeous. Now I'm in it's a place where you can park the car sort of thing, but I thought we're going to do a walk and talk, but why don't I start here? Because from experience, what I've found out is that if I stop and think too much about what I'm going to talk about, I won't actually, it doesn't work. You just have to press play on the video and off the top of your head. Now, and also when you're in the public like this, you know, there's people walking around. I find it so off-putting, but I know that I've got to, you know, deal with that. But I wanted to show you these back streets. I mean, isn't it? It's just gorgeous. And because there's no one here, you know, I'm sort of happy about that. But I thought, why don't I show you what this looks like? Now, the other thing I need to do is I need to mention to you what we're going to talk about. And today, I'm going to talk about obviously watches, and in one of my other chats I spoke about watch size determined by the movement, and I joked a lot about my displeasure towards thin watches, and that opinion still stands. I'm not really a small watch fan, but I thought to myself, and someone mentioned that perhaps I should chat more about sports watches, tool watches. For example, I'm wearing a Helm diver watch. So this is a tool watch. It's a great big thing. It looks fantastic, and that's probably the main reason that I'm wearing it, to show off and enjoy the reflected glory of wearing a helm. These are very. I didn't realise that Helm is such a popular brand and has such a really nice fan base, and a very large fan base. And even though, you know, I suppose I've been in the watch space for a while now, but of course I was aware of the Helm watch brand, and of course I must have put myself on the waiting list. Now the context here is I was on the waiting list for that for 2 years. And if you had said to me, hold on Stephen, are you going to put your name down on a waiting list, and it could be 2 years, I would have said no chance. But because I put my name down and then forgot all about it, I really had. I thought it was a year, and then I looked back at my emails and things, and it really was about 2 years ago. So I suppose this waitlist thing, I would be a hypocrite if I said you shouldn't be on wait lists, because that's exactly what I've done, and it was no problem at all. And I have said in other videos, I've spoken about that we should all save up for watches, because the process of saving up actually solidifies your real intention for that watch. Because actually I'm going to go this way because there's a bridge over a river coming up, but I'm just hoping that the sunshine doesn't get in the camera. I can't really tell. And let me just check one moment. You might have got a view of my flip-flops. It's still quite warm here, so that's why my attire is very chilled. So where was I? Gosh, where was I? See, there's so much stimuli when you're walking down the street that you forget. Yes, the process of saving up for a wristwatch. Now, I've mentioned a couple of times that I'm a big fan of saying to people, look, if you want a watch, you need to save for it, because the saving process actually forces you to really think about that purchase, that watch. And in the meantime, you can open up your internet browser and search other brands and other watches, or maybe the watch that you like yourself. So number one, you're saving money. Number two, you are saving up money. And number three, you're being very sure that the watch that you think you're going to buy is the watch that you want. Now, okay, watch this. Now, the sun might be straight at the camera there, so hopefully, but I want you to see this. Now, I suppose the thing to do is if I cross the road here and show you the other side. Why is it busy all of a sudden? The minute I'm here, there are cars. It's not normally this busy. I cannot believe that it's just got so busy, but and I do try and there we go, look at that. Now down there we have a cafe, and I don't know if you can see the Marie Colline cafe, and look at that. And I can't tell if I've got the camera, I think I've got the camera in the right place, but look at this view here. How gorgeous it is. And over here is one of my favourite restaurants, and hopefully you can see it, the de Babel. Well, that's what I call it. And isn't it nice? Isn't it lovely? And I feel that I should walk over to the best restaurant in the south of France. Well, actually, it's not possible to have a best restaurant because the bar is so high, and they are all reaching that bar, so they're all gorgeous. I love the way that the French do restaurants, actually, and their attitude to food and how they set up restaurants and how they treat people. I'm a bit of a French fan, it seems. Anyway, let's go and actually, if I can pan around here, look at this. And I've got my head in shot here. What I'm going to do is, because I've got this fancy gadget, I'm going to take my head out of the shot, keep you, there we go. Oh, that is cool. This new gadget is great. I can keep the camera rolling, but yet take myself out of the camera shot. That's pretty cool. I only keep myself in camera shot because I know that some people find it better to listen to conversation if they can see the person talking. And where we are going now is my favourite restaurant in France so far. And because, let me just check the time. Yeah, it's only 6:20 in the evening, so it's quite early. And I imagine they're open, but only just open. And okay, so that's the full name. Le Festin de Babel. Babette. Gosh, I've been calling it Babel. Oh, there we go. And I've been here many times, and I still have never learnt its name properly until right now, because it's on the it's on the video. Let me actually, I've just taken a photograph. I'm one of those people, I can go to a place 1,000 times, and I've never learned the actual. Look at this for a seating place, and look at the view that you've got here. Look at that. And I've sat in this corner many times, but they changed the seating arrangement. But this is why this is my favourite restaurant, and plus it's just cool. I call it my favourite restaurant. It's, you know, all the restaurants are very nice, but this one in particular is super duper. Anyway, I wanted to come here, and let me bring my mugshot back into a camera there. Okay, And what I like about this is I can drag this along. It's like I'm dragging the camera along, and hopefully you can, and then I can do that. And so you are getting my face, and you're getting as much of the scenery to look at as well. So apparently that's the best thing. So look at the bridge here. Look at that. Being in a place like this is lovely. Now this town, this village, was in a film, and I do apologise, I do not remember the name of the film, but I was here with a person and they recognised the place from this film. So yeah, you know, it's terrible. I should know that if anyone recognises this location, Saint-Antonin-Noble-Val. In fact, because I'm so bad with names, I thought there might be I'm looking at the signage to see if the name is there. Coming in it is, so that you've got the correct spelling as well. Anyway, you get the idea. You know, we're in a lovely place. But let me swing the camera around again, and I can sort of drag you along. Look at that. Look at that. This is what you've got to look at. And of course, you know, I'm on the wrong side of the road. There is a pavement over there. I suppose I should be over there. So there isn't normally so much traffic. You know, it is unusual that, and I thought being here at this time, I was going to avoid the traffic, but no, 6 p.m. is not, it must be rush hour or the equivalent. Anyway, where were we with watches? We were talking about saving up for a wristwatch. And I've said many times, and I think it's worth reiterating, that if you save up for a watch, you are, the process of saving does two things. Makes you think very carefully about the watch that you intend to buy, and it forces you to save. So in effect, what that could do is make the watch cheaper because you haven't put it all onto a credit card. You've actually saved up for it. And I mean, as we know, saving for anything, you know, it always seems much harder. It seems a hard thing to do, but the pleasure of saving up for something and then buying it, you know, is very rewarding. Plus, you know, wristwatches are, you know, they're a kind of a nice purchase. And I think a wristwatch is something that you really do want to, you know, not really put on a credit card or several credit cards, especially if you're buying something, you know, expensive. I mean, these things can be they can cost more than motor cars. And now I suppose that leads us on to a value for money. And I was going to come to the value, and it's really triggered by Helm, because if you go onto the Helm website, or you might already know, you'll know the cost of a Helm watch, and they're still a little bit expensive. So you know, it's not a cheap watch, but the cost of it is very good. There's a lot of value in this watch. Stainless steel, sapphire crystal. I think it's a sapphire crystal bezel covering the minute track. The build quality looks fantastic. The tolerances are brilliant. They are very, very good. It has a Seiko NH 35 movement. And so some people might think, no, that's not a very expensive movement, but it's a very good movement. It's like buying a BMW engine to put in your kit car, I suppose. Well, that's the analogy that I use. Now we are coming to a very nice, look at this. I'm trying not to, you know, get other people. I'm trying to stay away from people. So as I'm walking down the road, I'm literally trying to avoid them. But and also pick an evening that, in my opinion, well, I hope it's a quieter time of the early evening. I mean, this is gorgeous, so you know you can expect there to be a lot of people. But look at that, eh? I don't actually know what you can see, so I'm just hoping that I've got this camera lens faced in roughly the right direction. So where have we got to? We've got to... that's okay. We have got to the value of watches, saving up for watches. I should go this way, shouldn't I? Saving up for watches is a good idea. Let me do this actually. Let me drag the camera along. Oh, right. What I'm going to do, we're about to walk towards the square. Now, I'm going to do it justice if I get out of the camera, so I will do that. There we go. So, surprisingly, we have these guys. So obviously I've just walked into the square, and how lovely, huh? I'll turn the, I'll walk around that way, hold on. Good, huh? Actually, I'm going to get back out of the shot, and this is worth watching all by itself. I imagine some people could just listen and watch this. Okay, let me continue. So I suppose this gives you a very nice look and feel. I've been here a number of times. It's gorgeous. I normally grab a coffee there, but anyway, what a delight. I didn't know that was there. What I may do is go in this direction. I'm actually seeing which way I can go and avoid people. So let me I'm Mr. Antisocial. I'm really not that sociable of a person, and here I am with a video camera in front of my face, and I'm talking to the world. How crazy! And okay, let me bring this around. There we go. Isn't it good? What do you think? Isn't it good? Yeah. And I'm literally trying to get away. You know, I shouldn't, it's ridiculous really, me saying that, because of course there are going to be people. So, you know, what on earth do I think is going to happen? Of course you're going to find countless, you're going to find many people, you know, having a nice time. And let me drag you along. I quite like this dragging you along business. It is quite good, isn't it? I don't know how that looks. I will find out when I get back and I look at the video recording. But I'm trying to capture. Oh, look at this here. What a place. Now this is exactly where I would put myself, because there's no one there. There's peace and quiet. You're very close to all the activity there. And I know some people are probably thinking, hold on, will I go back in that direction? Yeah, why don't I? I really should, shouldn't I? Okay, let's do this. Let's go back to where the people are and where I really don't want to be. Okay, so where were we? We were at the value of watches, the cost of them, and Master Watch's opinion that you should save for a watch. Doesn't matter how much the watch is, but you should open up a savings account or an additional account on your main account, and you should call that the watch account, and you save in that account. And then you have an idea on what wristwatch you want to buy, and you know how much it's going to cost. But you can save. So every week or every month you can see how much you've saved, and you know the cost of the thing that you're going to buy with it. And in that time, you are going to go back to the watch and perhaps look at other watches. And I know, well, from experience, I have found that halfway through saving up for a watch, you can change your mind, and you can end up thinking, hold on, I've been saving up for this Rolex Submariner, but I've decided now that I want an IWC Pilot Chrono. And that's exactly the sort of thing that, you know, I would do, would happen to me. And I want to show you this band again. Isn't it cool? Okay, let's It's lovely, huh? It is very nice. It is very nice. Okay, I was going to walk around, but I feel so self-conspicuous. I am trying to block it all out, but it is very difficult. I'm trying to stay on topic thread, like value of watches. I haven't got on to things like value retention or investment, But I suppose I should hit that right now because I'm talking about saving up for watches. Now, a few years ago, especially over COVID, what happened is, in my opinion, was that a lot of people, like me included, because we were locked, we were under house arrest and we were locked indoors, you know, you would look at the internet at every watch you could think of, because why wouldn't you be looking at wristwatches? There's nothing else to do apart from look at wristwatches. And of course, we were all watching, well, idiots like me that like wristwatches. I was watching all the YouTube channels. So Timepiece Gentleman was a channel that I found very interesting. Luxury Bazaar, at that time Paul Thorpe, because he was producing watch content. But all the other YouTube channels that you can think of, I've probably had a look at them. And of course, at the same time, the value of watches, in particular Rolex, really started to go up, especially in 2021, 2022. And I wasn't really caught up in any of that hype because I thought to myself, this is going to be one heck of a nasty bubble. And I'm quite sure that this trajectory was completely to do with everyone being at home under house arrest, and at some point sanity would prevail, and the market would naturally bring it would have a correct value. And so what we did see, especially this year in particular, is the last few months, so we're in the middle of 2024 and it's the summer, that prices have settled again. For some hyped pieces that were over retail, they've come back down to retail or a little bit below. All the Rolex pieces, they all went above retail, but half of those have come back down to retail, if not below retail, on the secondary market. But still, you know, the very popular pieces that people really want, like that very new Daytona that's gorgeous, that's still double or three times. It's amazing, and there is a real waiting list. But then I think, hold on, I've done 2 years with the Caraburi. You know, a Rolex waiting list is no problem for me. But then that brings me on to the question, okay, Stephen, so why don't I buy a Rolex? And this is a very good question, because around 2018, 2017, I actually went into an authorised dealer, and I'm trying to remember which one. And if I'm very honest, it was off Bond Street in London. But I actually went in to an AD and I had a look at the Rolex Sea Dweller. And I forget the reference, but it was the Sea Dweller. It was the last Sea Dweller with a ceramic bezel, but without the Cyclops. So it wasn't the Sea Dweller 43, it was the one before that. And I remember the retail, so this is going to date, you know, when I looked at this watch, the retail, I'm sure it was £6,900, or it might have been £7,900, I don't really remember. But I remember thinking, and the lady said to me, this is the last one we have in the shop. And I thought to myself, why is it that any watch I look at is always the last one in the shop? You know, surely you have 2 of them left, but sure enough, this was the last one. And she said, I can keep it for you for 12 hours. And I said, can you budge on the price? So let's assume it was 7,900. And she said, no chance. You're very lucky that I can keep it. And I thought, fair enough. And at the time, I thought, well, if you've got one in stock and it's available right now, and it is at retail, for some reason I thought it's still a lot of money, and I like, you know, brands like Omega and IWC, and I really liked the Sea Dweller, and I still do. But I thought to myself, hold on, instead of pulling the trigger on this today, because, you know, it's a few £1,000s, that I can't really afford, I'm going to walk out of this shop and continue down Bond Street and go and have a look at some IWC watches and Omega watches and another, I can't remember who else I had a look at. And so I did that, but it got to the end of the day and I thought, I'm too tired now and I want to go off and have a hot chocolate. And so I didn't go back to the shop and buy this Rolex Sea Dweller. And I really had, got myself all geared up, got my credit cards all ready, and I was going to get this Rolex Sea Dweller. And anyway, the day after, let's take a look at this restaurant because it's so lovely. Let's just, yeah, look at that, hey? Isn't it nice? I have been here actually. So some people will say, hold on Stephen, this is the best restaurant ever. And you are right, this is the other best restaurant ever. And it is very, very nice. In fact, let me go down here. And yeah, there we go. So the next day came upon me and I thought, should I go and get that Sea Dweller? And I don't know what it was, but that time of my life and my wristwatch ventures, I decided that it was too much money. And I thought, hold on, that's an awful lot of cash. And IWC's Pilot and Omega had something. But what happened is I decided not to buy anything. I thought, I'm going to keep the space on my credit cards and my savings account, and I would just sleep on it because I thought, never make a rush decision, especially buying a wristwatch. And I thought, if I really want the Sea Dweller so much, I'm going to go back, a week later or a few days later. And I thought, so I don't really mind not buying it today because I can go back next week. Anyway, it wasn't next week. I think it might have been 3 months later that I actually went back. And once again, I had this very lazy attitude. And, I thought, even if it's there, I'm not 100% certain that I'm going to buy it. But I did walk in and I'm sure I don't know if it was the same person, but when I inquired about the watch, it had been sold and they didn't have another one, but they could get me one very quickly and that would be that. So perhaps it wasn't 2018, it might have been 2017. It doesn't seem too many years ago, but it definitely wasn't 20 or 21. It was a few years ago. So the price might determine, what year it was. Anyway, so my recent Rolex experience sort of passed by. I thought to myself, for the time being, I'm sort of okay with. Let's go down here. I'm sort of okay with not buying Rolex. I'm going to have a look at what else is on offer. And so time moved on, and then a year moved on, and then the prices were jumping, and that's when I thought, hold on, something's happened in this space, and these prices are expensive, and I'm not sure that I see the value in these watches, over this £7,000-8,000 mark. I'm definitely not £10,000. Years ago, I used to think that 10 grand was definitely going to buy you a precious metal. Hi, mister. I want to have a look at him through the viewfinder. Hey there. How are you doing? You're chilling out, huh? I think that's a girl. Yeah. I'm always interested what the wildlife are up to. The feline type and the human type. So my interest in Rolex, it's sort of at the minute that Rolex prices started to do this, my interest did that. And I thought, this is such an interesting emotional response. Surely, being an enthusiast and being a person that likes watches and these Rolexes, You know, I would simply get with the program and pull that trigger and, you know, and just get in there like buying a house. You get on the ladder. And I thought, why don't I get on the Rolex ladder? But I started to think, hold on, 8 grand stuck in a stainless steel sea dweller into a wristwatch, and it's stainless steel, not solid gold. You know, I was out because once again, you know, 10 grand told me. Right, so this is going back a good between 5 and 10 years. 10 grand to me said precious metal. It said gold, white gold, and perhaps 12 or 15 platinum. And platinum really was my favourite material, especially when I was a bit younger. 10 years ago, I was rocking a platinum Pilot IWC, and eventually I let that go, and gosh, I regret it so much. Anyway, I kind of like these regret stories that, you know, many people seem to have. I've certainly, but then I thought, hold on, you know, I enjoyed the watch, I then sold it, and I moved on. So what is the problem? You know, there isn't really a problem, because you've owned the thing, you've enjoyed what it is, and you've been able to sell it and move on to the next thing. And that's the other, you know, very nice thing about watches, that you can sort of get into the hobby, if you want to call it a hobby or an interest. It's really a hobby, isn't it, actually? Buying wristwatches, talking about wristwatches on a YouTube channel like this. I suppose it's a hobby, a hobby stroke interest. Actually, it's very interesting that all of a sudden I'm thinking about watches like this. I suppose it is a hobby. Anyway, because I am back in this location, I thought to myself, I'm very hot, and I've probably been talking a very long time, and I thought I'm going to say ciao for now. And when I'm going over this to make sure the terribleness isn't so terrible I can't post it, hopefully I can collect some notes and it will link me to the next video. But at that, I'm going to say ciao for now, and I hope everyone is well, and speak again very soon.